And we are live. Welcome everyone to SQL Hangout number 37 with Monica here today. I'm just going to hand it over to you straight away here, Monica. So if you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Awesome. My name is Monica Rathbun. I am a Lone DBA and have been for 15 years. I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia, currently working for Massimo Zanetti Beverage. I am the chapter leader for the Hampton Roads SQL user group, and I frequently speak at SQL Saturdays. I'm also an IDERA ace and lucky to have them sponsor me for the year of 2016, and allows me to get to all of the events and see SQL family and teach everybody how to survive as a Lone DBA.
Sounds great. So you're super active in the community. But this topic here today is all about being the Lone DBA. You've been working alone for 15 years. What kind of tips and tricks do you have for other DBAs who are working alone?
So the biggest thing I can tell everybody is to get out and network. So you're in an office by yourself, you're working on all of these servers alone. You have to create your own virtual coworkers, I call it. So getting out to SQL events, getting out on Twitter, getting out to SQL Saturdays and to SQL Pass, and building your network and your virtual coworkers is imperative. You have to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. You have to have somebody out there that can double check your code, to brainstorm with, to just help you with different things you might run into. And that's where the community comes in. There's no way you can survive as a Lone DBA without having all the other input from all the other DBAs out there that freely give this information to us, through the blogs, through Twitter, through, these SQL events, all your speakers. They're just integral to surviving and to, get the job done, because you can't do it alone. You truly can't do it alone. You need everybody else out there helping you.
Yeah. So how did you get started in the community? Did you meet someone to one of the SQL Saturdays alone, or how did that get started for you?
Actually, I think I went to a SQL Saturday in Richmond several years ago, and somebody told me about Twitter. So I decided to go on that day. I created a Twitter handle, and from that day forward, you'll see me every weekday going out there and just saying hello to everybody. I start my morning just like anybody else would in their office, right? You go around with coffee in hand, say hello to everybody in your office. I do the same thing on Twitter. So I go out there every morning, say good morning, what's on your plate for today, start to become more active and get people seeing my Twitter handle and everything like that, and start just building those relationships on Twitter. That's how I got started in the community. And then of course the community pushes you and gets you to do other speaking. And so this year I started speaking due to some pushing from a couple of the Twitter people out there, and just built from there.
Cool. So Twitter is kind of your water cooler online.
Absolutely.
That's such a great way of explaining Twitter, because if you're coming from outside the SQL Server community, Twitter might not, people might not see the purpose of Twitter, but inside our community at least, it's such a great place to find help, to network, to talk to other people. So do you have any experiences where you've posted something on Twitter and you got help right away?
Absolutely. So last year we did a SharePoint upgrade. And when they did the SharePoint upgrade as their backup rollback solution, they did a VMware snapshot, and the upgrade did not go so well. When they went to roll back, the snapshot didn't go so well. So of course they called me and said, we use reporting services integrated mode for SharePoint, right? So when they called me, they said, all of our reports are gone. We lost all of our subscriptions, we lost everything. And unfortunately, I could not restore from our SQL backup because the encryption keys were not backed up. So I was dead in the water. So it's 11 o'clock at night. I turned to Twitter, of course, because it's 24/7, right? Everybody all over the world is on Twitter. So 11 o'clock at night, I went out there and tweeted, oh my God, you guys help me. I've lost all my reports. Is there anything I can do? Within minutes, I had some of the top people in the community reaching out to me, asking for screenshots, asking for error messages, and everything they could to help me. So by 8 o'clock the next morning, I had the utmost reports, the reports that we needed to get production going, actually up and running. And I was able to actually not cause any downtime within the company, which was fantastic. And I would never have been able to do that because I'm not a reporting services guru. I'm not, not everybody knows ins and outs of SharePoint. So to have those people out there helping me for free, I always say they're out there helping you for free, was amazing. They helped me actually rebuild the entire catalog and get everything back to where it was. So it's fantastic. They're out there all the time helping people like me, and truly grateful. So yeah.
That's really cool. And that's kind of the power of networking in this community as well, how quickly you can get help from others and people being there for you. So that's actually really, really cool. And you said that, getting into this community as well, that got you started speaking?
Absolutely. So I'm a Lone DBA. That's kind of my niche on how I get out there and let people know that they're not alone, and that the job of 5 can actually be done by 1. And a few speakers out in the community reached out to me and said, hey, you need to go out and start talking about this, how you survive and how you love being a Lone DBA. I've never worked in a team, and I thrive on being able to do this work on my own without being overwhelmed. And so they wanted me to share that bit of my life with everybody. And so I had somebody for my local user group say, all right, you're speaking in August. And they actually penciled me in for August, and it was like February. And they said, that's it, you're gonna do it. And they started hounding me, letting me know, hey, August is coming, August is coming. And then people on Twitter started saying, hey, when you're gonna start speaking. So they kind of pushed me in and gave me a topic, and I just kind of ran with it. And so far it's been 7 SQL Saturdays this year on the Lone DBA topic. I've been able to reach out and help some other Lone DBAs who have been kind of stressed out and not really sure how to handle the workload, or just starting out as a Lone DBA and not knowing, how to make their job a little more efficient. And so being able to give back in the community to those others that are in the same predicament that I've been for 15 years is awesome. And the little push that the community gave me to get out there and start speaking was what I needed. So it's really rewarding to do that. So.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. As closing the cycle, you've got help from a lot of people in the community, and now you can give back to so many others. And that's kind of one thing about doing these hangouts as well, that we can reach out to even more people, watching this later. So you mentioned kind of, being overloaded, being overworked. If you're the only person, you have to solve everything. So kind of that life balance things. Do you have any tips for Lone DBAs out there on that side of things?
Yeah, so as far as life balances, I have 2 girls that dance. For those who know me, they truly dance, like 20, 30 hours a week, they're in dance. And, everybody knows being a Lone DBA, you're on call 24/7. Really don't have any off time. And getting your boss to realize your life balance struggles and the demand that being a Lone DBA has, it is part of the key to not becoming overwhelmed. So I've developed a relationship with my boss, and I have flexible work hours. I'm able to, I start my mornings like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking at my alerts and getting things started. And then I'm able to get off work like 3:30 every day to go help my daughters with dance, take them back and forth. And I think developing the relationship with your boss, letting them know that your hours, they're actually getting the hours from you. You may not be in the office, but they're getting the hours from you. And so keeping that relationship with them, as far as letting them know that you're working all of these extra hours without whining about the extra hours and stuff like that, they become more flexible. Having that flexible schedule is key. I've got to have my daughters where they need to be. And I also need to do my job. So you'll find me lots of times tweeting, I'm working from the parking lot at the dance studio. Or this weekend I did some maintenance. I worked 4 hours on Sunday from the dance studio parking lot. It's the flexibility that allows me to have the life balance that I need. And communicating with my boss via emails at off hours and stuff like that kind of lets her know that, hey, I'm working. So the company's winning and I'm winning. It just depends on the hours of the week, who gets more. So having that relationship and that flexibility is key.
Yeah, some good advice there. So your Twitter handle and your website is SQLEspresso. Can you tell us the story behind that name?
I work for a coffee company. We're a large coffee manufacturer. And when I started working for this company, I didn't drink coffee, none whatsoever. I actually interviewed and they were offering me espressos and cappuccinos and stuff like that. And I kept saying, I don't drink coffee. And they were laughing at me. If you want this job, you shouldn't tell us that you don't drink coffee. So I started drinking coffee and they taught us how to use the espresso machines. And then one day I was sitting there making my coffee and a coworker looked over to me and said, hey, do you realize you're actually making a quad shot of espresso? And it dawned on me, I thought I was making a double and it's a quad. So from that point on, I actually took on SQLEspresso because you'll notice, especially in my tweets in the morning, after I've had my espresso, I'm kind of bouncing off the walls and you'll see like 20 million tweets and stuff like that. So anyways, it's just come about as SQLEspresso, and you know, I tweet out there the coffee that I have in the morning and stuff like that. It's kind of become my brand. And you know, that's just where it came from. As of right now, I actually had a quad shot probably about a half an hour ago. Probably not the best idea when you're going on live and you're talking a mile a minute, but that's okay.
I think it's fine. Yeah, it's a fun hangout. Yeah. So you mentioned that you were an Idera Ace. Can you tell us what that is?
Idera is a software company, and they do a lot within the community. And back in October, they reached out to me and asked me about getting involved in this program. And of course, I actually jumped at it. And what they do is they sponsor, there's 6 of us right now. They sponsor us and help pay for the transportation and everything to SQL events to get out there and be able to educate fellow, and they just try to help out with the community. They want to actually help us individually work towards getting our MVP status. So it's just one of the ways that Idera gives back to us and our community, and gives us the ability to travel to the 7 SQL Saturdays that I've been able to do this year. So it's a great program. I think they're going to continue next year. It's something you can actually apply for, and I highly recommend it. Idera is a great company that's really giving us this awesome avenue to get out to the community.
So again, you know, the whole networking part of getting into this community, meeting people, and then having Idera as someone who can actually help you get out there and meet more people and help more people. Again, it's the whole SQL community in that. I think it's really great. But for other Lone DBAs who might not want to, you know, start speaking or start blogging, because it can feel kind of scary to get out there and, you know, put your face out there. Other things that they can do without, you know, being out there on camera or in front of people, like, are there any tools that they can use to simplify their workday? Any, you know, free resources that you've learned a lot from?
Actually, what I do to make my job more efficient, because you don't want to bake your own monitoring tools. Time is of the essence when you're a Lone DBA. You have so many things on your plate and so much to get done. What I always talk about is trying to use tools such as Idera, Redgate, SQL Sentry to start monitoring and automating some of your work. Tools give you alerts when there's issues. Start setting up different thresholds. I have SQL Sentry to run my job chains in the morning. Whatever you can use tool-wise to help you be more efficient, highly recommend it. You need to be like an octopus, right, is what I say. You need 8 arms to do this job. So I use each one of those tools, including the free tools that are out there, to try to be my extra arms. So it's doing work while I'm doing work, and then I have other tools that are doing more work. So using the tools, if you can get them, to pay for them is worth your company's time and effort and money. It just allows you to do more. And there's also free tools out there. Of course, you know, you've got the SQL Sentry tools that are free. You have Olaf Hollinger's indexing things. There's so many tools out there. If you can't pay for the tools, there are other avenues out there. And I've got my slide deck out on my website, SQLEspresso.com. And it actually has a list of all of the free tools that I use. And so if you want to check and see what's available, go out there and look. And but you need to have them. The tools are your extra arms, and there's no way, along with Twitter, you have to have those to get the amount of work that's required done. So Yeah.
That's great. So more about you. You mentioned, SQLespresso.com is your blog. You're on Twitter at SQLespresso. Where else can people find you? Do you have any upcoming events, things like that planned? This is your time for, promotion.
Yeah. I was just notified yesterday that I will be doing the SQL chat for IDERA in July. I'm going to tweet out there. I'd like to actually get some input from the community, what we want to chat about. For those that don't know, we do a lunch hour once a month where we have a guest tweeter, go out there and we talk about a topic, and everybody jumps in during lunch and they talk about their experiences of that topic. And so I'll be hosting that next month. I'll be tweeting out today, give me some input so we can see what everybody feels like talking about. So that'll come up. I actually submitted to 2 more SQL Saturdays coming up in August, Kentucky. And then I'm going to Nashville to speak at their local user group. And then I applied for Kansas City. So that'll be my next SQL Saturday. That's in September. And I'll be speaking at Richmond, Virginia's user group in August as well. August is really busy for me. So I'll be out and about. And that's coming up. Like I said, July will be the Twitter chat. And we'll go from there. Whatever comes my way, I try to jump in on it and help those out there that are in my predicament. So that's what's coming up.
Yeah, so you're easy to find and easy to get in touch with. And I noticed, if you're following the SQL family hashtag on Twitter as well, that you're one of the people who keeps introducing, new users into this SQL family and telling everyone to, say hi to this new person. So how's that for you? Is that something that have you heard any stories from someone that you've introduced to the family, or someone who got started because of you?
I think this is the best part of speaking. And I joke every time I come back from one of my SQL Saturdays, and I give everybody homework. And so when I come back, and part of the homework is getting on Twitter, creating a SQL handle or putting SQL in your bio, and then they have to go out and they have to tweet to me. Hi, Monica, I was in your class, good morning or whatever. And I can welcome this new SQL family member. And when I come back on Mondays and I see people that have done their homework, I have other, SQL friends, and I'm like, oh my God, I got another person that's coming on Twitter. They actually did their homework. It's so exciting and so rewarding. So what I try to do is when they actually tweet me, I go and I introduce them to the rest of the SQL family. I have other people reply to them, and then I check back with them as much as I can and try to bring them into the conversations. Being a lone DBA, you're trapped in an office. You don't know how to reach out to these thousands of strangers sitting on Twitter and jumping into the conversations, and it's a little bit awkward, things like that. So I just try to give them a little bit of a boost, get them in the community. The amount of help that they can get from Twitter is there's just so much out there for them. I think it's really important for someone like me and others to try to bring them into the community and get them these extra resources. So that's one of the things which I'm glad you brought up, which is the homework. It's so rewarding to actually see them do that. And I just keep trying to push and get more of them out there, and get the SQL family out there. I call them these newbies, get their foot in here. Everybody out here is really super inviting and helpful. And I just try to give a little more exposure to them. I did a Twitter chat back in November, another idea of Twitter chat, about how to jump into Twitter and building brand recognition and getting yourself out there. So I have a blog on it where we all went back and forth telling these people, how to jump into our conversations and how to become part of the community. So that's a great resource if you're one of those ones that just did my homework and want to find more ways to get involved on Twitter. So.
Yeah, great tips there. And like you said, you've been working for 15 years. You're a female. You have 2 daughters as well. So kind of the whole, women in tech and STEM, I need to bring this up. It's an interesting topic to talk about. So what do you think about, women in technology in the SQL Server community? How is the community here?
Well, the community, I think, is really great about promoting the women in technology. Ree and Kathy took over the WIT group, and they're doing a great job promoting the women speakers that are coming up at New SQL Saturdays. They're putting more information out there. I don't think there's anything in the community that has pushed down technology or done anything to stifle us within the community. I think they've done nothing but build us up and help support other women. I'm kind of on the stronger side of a woman in technology. I have no problem speaking up. I've never really run into major issues, but I think the Women in Technology group job of mentoring and giving advice to other women that may not be as strong and as assertive as some of us are, to help build them up, give them a voice, give them avenues to reach out. I know there's a Slack channel for Women in Technology where we're constantly giving advice back and forth to everybody. I think the SQL community does a great job at acknowledging the differences with women in technology versus men in technology. And we're doing our best to do girls tech and stuff like that to build up younger ones that are still in school and try to get them into the technology workforce. So I think the SQL community does a great job at that.
It's great to have role models like yourself out there, you know, being visible, inviting people into the community, and that's not just for women as well, but, you know, for everyone working with SQL Server. So we're getting close to the time here, but I just wanted to ask you about your work. Is there anything you're working on currently that you think is like super exciting, new technology, new challenges, anything like that?
Oh my God. If you could see my whiteboard, you'd see the list of things that I have going on. Right now, we're working on a lot of performance issues. So I'm digging in to execution plans and things like that, which I love. I'm constantly working on a mystery. I'm doing that. We're starting a brand new BI initiative. So we're taking a look at Power BI and everything that it has to offer. We're getting ready to upgrade. I'm so excited to upgrade to 2016. And everything having to do with the new reporting services. I'm very giddy to start playing with all of that. So that's going to be fun. Other than that, it's just the normal day-to-day, trying to keep, you know, everything afloat and tapping into the resources we have out there to help me do that. So that's right now, constant battling of performance and then playing with the new stuff from 2016.
You're so lucky that you get to play with that. So I think we're just gonna wrap this up here right now. Like I've said before, you can find Monica on Twitter at SQLEspresso and go and say hi. I can give people homework, you know, for you here. Great. And you know, be a part of the community, all about networking. So if you see Monica somewhere, go and say hi, and that, you know, any other event as well, talk to people, because that's kind of the main survival technique for being a lone DBA, right?
Absolutely, and that's where your company gets their ROI. You know, when they're sending you to Summit and things like that, and you come back with these contacts, that's where the company sees their benefit. I have my boss walk in all the time and say, go out to Twitter. We'd like to figure out what's the difference between Tableau and Power BI. Go out there and get some feedback. My boss recognizes that's where they're getting their return. You have all of these DBAs working for them, not just one sitting in their office. So get out there and network. Go to these events. It's the way to survive. DBA, you can't be just by yourself. You need an army working with you. So, and that's where Twitter and the community comes in.
Yeah. And final advice there as well, you know, everyone has something that they can teach others. Even if you're a new DBA or an experienced DBA or you're starting something else, if there's anything that you learn, you can help others, because I'm pretty sure that someone out there is struggling with the same thing right now.
That's very true. And you don't have to be technical. That's one of the things that I was afraid when I went to start speaking. Everybody has some technical session to go over. You know, you may not be a technical speaker. I'm not talking on a technical topic, but I am talking on a topic that others can relate to. Everybody has a story to share. Get out there and share it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice there. So thank you again for, you know, spending 30 minutes with us, sharing your advice and your knowledge. And hopefully people can find you out there on Twitter on some upcoming events. So I think that's it for me. Is there anything else that you want to share with the world while we're still here?
No, just keep giving yourself to the community, give back, and share your story. You know, help others out there. Do what you can, and say hello to me on Twitter, and we'll introduce you to the rest of the SQL family.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Monica. And I know you're super busy. You know, you have your DBA stuff to go back to and make sure everything's up and running. So I will talk to you on Twitter. And thank you so much again for joining me here today.
All right, Catherine, thanks a lot for inviting me.
Okay. Bye.